Here we fucking go! You're listening to Bread and Circuses.
It's like the mob media, for one, is the entire world populated. Like, everybody's on Twitter. Fucking the UK is on Twitter. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
unfortunately.
With Caleb Salvatore.
Well, they can't. They can't go to the comedy shows because there's a 2-drink minimum, and you can't mix the Percocet you've been stealing from work with liquor.
And Nick Kohler.
There literally be people in the fucking 80s that didn't know that nutting in a girl would make her pregnant.
No one's asked that question. What did those families do to provoke Alex Jones like that?
You know what'll solve all of these racial police protests? A Pepsi.
What the fuck is up, friends? Welcome to Bread and Circuses. It's me, your boy Caleb Salvatore.
And Nick Kohler. What's up? What's
That's
up,
right.
everybody?
What's going on? I am on my first cup of coffee in 2 days, and let me tell you, I'll never do this again.
You know, that's funny. Me and Caleb did almost a complete 180 with each other because Caleb, when I first met him, never drank any coffee.
No.
I've
had 3
completely
cups
weaned
in my life. Yeah.
over this summer I've completely weaned myself off caffeine.
It's impressive.
I haven't had coffee in about 6 weeks now.
Now you've switched it with meth, but that's aside from the point.
I've honestly switched it with exercise, man. Like, I've really been working out really hard for the past like 6-8 weeks or so.
See, I just had a really bad stomach bug for like 2 days, right? Like, just one of the, like, I used to get them every year and I haven't for the last 3, so I was overdue, and I knew as soon as I started getting sick, I go, here we go. But so I had a really bad stomach bug. And it's a catch-22 because when you're fucking dehydrated and feel like shit, the last thing you want is caffeine. But when you're a caffeine addict like myself, who has 4, sometimes 5 cups a day, usually with espresso, you go through withdrawals when you've gone like 12 hours without some.
Oh, I know, man. I would drink during, especially last semester. It was bad, man. I was drinking a can of like extra caffeinated, like, rock stars every
See, I'm not into those. Those aren't my thing. I don't know. They work in a pinch, but
the amount of, there's like like a Red Bull I think has like 180 milligrams of caffeine or something, right? Like a regular can. Like this one had 220. Like it was, or 240, I think.
Jesus.
Yeah, dude. So I was getting like half the safe amount of caffeine daily.
Yeah.
And like I could tell it was like really fucking with me, man.
What do they say? It's like 400. 400 is the safe amount.
Yeah, something
per day?
like that. Yeah, that's like the safe amount.
I imagine they do that for like the average size human, and I'm a little bit taller and I weigh a little bit more, so I bet I can handle more than 400. But yeah, no. So
I don't know. That's like a safe amount though. Before you like need to start monitoring your heart rate and go to the hospital. Or something, you know?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Well, like I was saying, it's really shitty because it's such a catch-22. Because when you're that sick and you're dehydrated as hell, you know, the last thing you want is coffee, is caffeine. But on the flip side, the withdrawals you're going through are making you even sicker. So it's like we talk about like hair of the dog with being hungover. Like when you feel like shit with a hangover, the last thing you need is like a beer, but the last thing you want is a beer. But that's probably the best thing for you,
like a Bloody Mary or something.
Yeah,
what are they? Mimosas. By Bloody Marys. My mom swears by Bloody Marys for fucking hangover cures. So.
Everyone has the hangover cure they swear by that works for nobody else. That's what I've noticed.
I hate Bloody Marys too, so I hate anything with Clamato in it. So
yeah, no, for me, what I found is the biggest hangover. What is it? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. That's the hangover thing. Stick to one drink all night. That's what I felt like. If I sit there and I drink beer all night, I'll be fine. If I start, if I'm mixing shots in, it's over. If I start, like, I can sit there and drink one liquor all night and be fine. Like, I'll have just whiskey all night and be fine. But the second I throw in, shots of vodka, different mixed drinks and shit, it's over. We're done.
I honestly think the last time I got hungover was that one time that me and you and one of our old coworkers all went out drinking.
Or was it Lindsay?
Yeah,
We can say she's not gonna care.
Yeah, when me and Lindsay all went out drinking, and I got like way too drunk, dude. Like,
Yeah, I remember being the babysitter, and it's bad when I have to be the babysitter on a night out on the town. Because I mean, you had the incident where you asked those guys if they ate ass, and the fucking
it's a
frat boy
general
lost
question, you know
it.
what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a drunk bar question. They wanted to fight over it, so
Yeah, and then and then Lindsay ran out in traffic trying
yeah,
to
Lindsay
flip
was
off
like
the cars.
running away from us.
Yeah, I mean it's like I said, it's bad when I'm the babysitter. No, I mean I have you who fights frat boys and Justin Healy who fights homeless people at Chili's. So it's two sides of the same coin. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's no fucking win in between. There's no in betweens.
I mean, I've gone out drinking at bars and stuff, but like after that, you know, honestly, the last time I went out drinking at a bar was probably during the NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
And even then, man, like I just don't feel the need to like get that drunk anymore. Like
You
we're
were
like late
you got a kid now.
20s.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, when we were like 21, it was cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, he's 21, he's lit, he'll grow out of it. Now it's like I'm on the wrong side of 25. You know what I mean? Like I'm closer to 30 than I am being 21, and it's not cute anymore. It's kind of sad. And like every now and then you need to let go. Don't get me wrong, I'm a firm believer in that. But yeah, it's like, you know, when you're sloppy drunk, and I am a sloppy drunk, like I say stupid shit and stuff like that. It's not, it stops being cute and it starts just being like, really, dude? Like
A crazy going like a crazy for me night anymore is like going to a bar and having like 5 or 6 drinks. Like that's when I'm like,
I do that
I had a lot of drinks tonight. Like, you know.
See,
I just haven't. I don't know, man. Like I just have been focusing on school and everything. I got a kid. It's just like, you know, I haven't just felt the need to go get really drunk.
I've definitely lost the clubbing and bar hopping part. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I don't find that fun. I don't find it, and maybe it's just because I'm getting older, and it's like I don't want to go open up a new tab at every single place. I don't want to wait for 20 minutes to get a drink. And you know what? It's just like, I don't want to go spend twice as much on a fucking beer that I would pay at a neighborhood bar. It's just not and go to all these different bars where it's all around strangers. It's just not appealing to me. But like, I'm more than like, if y'all want like a comedy show, when we do our show at Beach House, when we do our show at Beach House, like if my friends want to go to a neighborhood bar or something just on a Friday night, you know, after our show, yes. I mean, I got no problem doing that, but no, it's just club. The whole club scene has never been. I've never been a dancer, so the club scene's never been for me. And then bar hopping just seems so much work, even when all the bars are right next to each other anymore. So I'm kind of like,
right. Oh, you got to think, man. It's like the part of life that you're in now. You know what I mean? Like you've been in a long committed relationship for like multiple years now. Mm-hmm. It's like you guys are more concerned with buying a house, saving up for buying a house,
right?
And like
it's expensive.
Yeah, man. Like it's expensive going out on weekends and stuff, and especially even anymore. Like you got to think you got to spend like maybe like $40 on Uber, if more.
Yeah,
and then drink menu, you know, drinks will end up being over $60-$70 per person if you're going crazy.
That's the thing. I mean, it depends where you go. Yeah, if you're going to like places and centers where you're bar hopping, where it's $7 for a beer, yeah, that's easy to run that tab up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you said, 30-40 when you consider the Uber there and back. Which I mean, what else are you gonna do? No one wants to leave their car in a strange place. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Nobody does. Like if I park it at like my friend's house or something, or if I leave it at the bar down the street, it's not as huge of a deal. Yeah. But you know, downtown or something, it's like, but yeah, homeless men masturbate in those garages. I'm good.
And into your gas cap.
Right, yeah, into your cap. No, my gas cap is locked. You got to be able to open it from the inside. So
oh man, the homeless man ain't getting his rocks off with your gas cap tonight. Huh?
Not tonight. No, you can't fuck my gas tank. Sorry, buddy. Sorry, Dirt Al. You can't fuck my gas tank. Yeah, but no. What were you saying? Sorry.
I was just say take it somewhere else. Al. Go find another floozy car.
But I have no problem like going to like my friends like to go to Senate still, like the neighborhood bar, and we live even closer to it now. And honestly, there's
like a neighborhood sport. I like mostly going to sports bars, man. Just watching like the games or something.
Well, it's cool because like you go to those bars and It's not too loud. You don't have loud, like there's music playing, there's people talking, but you don't have boom, but like loud music. And it's like, dude, I want to go out to hang out with you. I don't want to scream over party rock anthem while I'm trying to have a conversation with you. You know what I mean? Like, like we're going to hang out. Like it's not, I just don't understand the appeal anymore. And I never really did with that kind of thing. So I like, yeah. And there's food there at those sports bars and stuff too. So you can get some mozzarella sticks and fried pickles and
like
pass them around.
Or something.
And man, Sinitz, shout out to Sinitz. I go there. Like I said, it's 5 minutes from my house now. So
that's the one in Papillion, right?
Yeah, right by the bowling alley. You got I got us tossed out of. So I mean, I go to Sinitz. It's like a fucking $7 Uber ride. I really don't care if I leave my car there because it's right by the police station. No one's breaking.
Yeah, true.
Dude, you get shot on sight. Like, no. So I'm not really worried about it. And it seriously, drinks. I never spent more than $50 there. Like even when we took my brother there to get him lit.
Didn't you go one time there and not you, but didn't like Jesse or something buy a round of like for the entire bar or something? Like didn't he?
Jordan probably did. That was like something my friend Jordan would do. These people don't know who he is. He listened to the show though. Shout out to Jordan. He's in Germany right now, living it up. Europa
right now?
He's hanging out in Europe. Yeah, man. He just said, fuck it. I'm going to Europe. Sorry, Wi-Fi went out for a little bit. So if you notice a little bit of a change in the thing, sorry, we had to rejoin the group. So shouldn't notice a difference. Yeah, no, my friend, he's over partying in Europe right now. I don't know how bad I would want to be in Europe, with World War III about to kick off, but more power to him. If you're going to go out lit. Like,
yo, that's a good segue, man. I've been following that stuff, really closely as we've always been discussing it. And Germany increased their defense funding by like double. They like tripled it or double or tripled it or something, man. Like they've been, all the European NATO countries are like spending way more money on their militaries now. And I've been seeing them like US Army here in the US. They've like relaxed a lot of these recruiting standards that they used to have. It's like they're trying to get numbers up, man. Like that's kind of weird.
Trump said the last time that happened, it wasn't so good for the rest of the world.
Well, you know what, man? I honestly don't even know if it would. Honestly don't even know if the U.S. would have to get involved if it was just strictly Russia versus like Western Europe. And I don't know, man. Like
unless nukes get deployed, then it's. I mean,
I don't think any nukes would get deployed. I think they would just have them as deterrent or something. But it's like I don't think anybody wants to be that one to nuke the entire world. You know what I mean?
No. The only thing that scares me, and I think I've said it before about Putin, is if he really is dying of cancer and he goes, you know what, fuck it, I'm taking everyone with me.
You know what? Here's what I think about that. It's like in World War II, man, every country that fought that war had ample supplies of really terrible chemical weapons like sarin gas and shit. And it was never used once in the entire war. If the Nazis didn't use, well, I mean, I guess they used like gas in like the concentration camps, but like they never deployed it in like a war, like, you know what I mean? In a type of tactical type role, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they did in World War I. So like, if the Nazis weren't trying to gas their enemies, you know what I mean? With like sarin, you know what I mean? The Japanese.
Yeah, the Japanese did horrific things to prisoners too.
Yeah,
that's what people
man.
don't realize. Like
Japanese would do a really fucked up shit, like specifically target medics and stuff. I'm like, but they didn't use gas, so it's
speaking of World War II and countries being invaded. Do you know what Winston Churchill didn't do when the British were being invaded in World War II? He didn't pose for Vogue fucking magazine with his wife. Look at this. How is your country being bombed and we're supposed to give you guys like $1 billion a week and you're out posting for fucking business casual Playboy? The fuck is this?
It's propaganda, man. That's what it is, dude. The Ukraine,
that's not good. Who okayed that?
All these Western journal outlets want us to go to fucking war with Russia, man. You know that they're. I mean, dude, we found that out 9/11. Everything is just like interconnected.
Iraq, 9/11. Yeah,
it's all just
COVID.
An interconnected warmonger. You know what I mean? They make money off of war, so they want us to go to war. So it's like, that's not even surprising, man. Like,
whenever the entire mainstream media or 90% of it is lockstep in a narrative, you have to take a step back and be like, okay, what's actually going on here?
Yeah.
Just like COVID. Ukraine is the new COVID. I've been saying that since it happened.
The Ukrainian military is entirely dependent right now on Western countries sending them like equipment and weapons and ammunition. Like they're entirely dependent on it. They've used
getting destroyed. If it wasn't, it'd be over.
Yeah, exactly. It would already be over. Yeah, like so. I mean,
bro, what's going to happen is eventually the people in the United States are going to start to resent Ukraine, and if they haven't already,
man,
and they're going to start being like, look at how shitty our country is right now. The infrastructure's crumbling, inflation's out of control. We have no food, gas is insane, and we just keep giving these fucks money, and people are eventually just going to be like, okay, this needs to stop, and the U.S. is going to pull the plug, and the gravy train is going to stop coming, and that's what's going to be the end of it.
I've been seeing more shit about the White House has been trying to sell and export more oil, and it's like, bruh,
yeah,
like we need the oil here. Stop selling it.
The goal, it's seriously, and they're selling it not just to China. They're not just selling it to China. They're selling it to a Chinese company that guess whose son has a stake in. Joe Biden's son.
Oh, is it the crackhead?
Yeah, the crackhead. Oh, the other one's dead, so it's not him. The one that was the wrong son died. Not the pedophile crackhead. The one that was in the military. He had a brain tumor. So no. So they're selling all these oil, dude. They're dipping into the reserves, and if you think they're gonna, the oil reserves are there if there's an actual crisis, not just the price is too high. If there was ever a shortage or somebody were to pull the plug and be like, nope, no more. That's what those are there for. They're there for emergencies, right? It's like busting into your emergency fund that you keep in your house because you want to go buy a new TV with it. Not really an emergency, cool thing, but you don't need to. You know what I mean? So that's what, or it's like your Xbox breaks down and you dip into your emergency. That's probably a better example there. Not really an emergency. You know what I mean? So what's going to happen when we're actually out of oil, when there's an actual shortage? There's not going to be any. It's not going to be $5 a gallon. There just won't be any. It'll be $5 a gallon and there won't be any. We'll just be fucked.
$20 a gallon.
Yeah. We'll be fucked.
I mean, they've already shown. You know what I mean? They've already shown that the oil companies could basically just work together to just charge whatever the fuck they want. You know? Well, what I mean?
Their ultimate goal is to get people off oil and into electric cars. Pete Buttigieg said that. So it's
that?
Pete Buttigieg, however the fuck you pronounce. I don't know. But he said that in front of Congress the other day.
I don't even know if they need to be on electric cars necessarily. I don't know, man. I don't know what they could do. They need to figure something out with that for sure.
You live in Texas, right? You guys lose power how often? Just when it gets too hot out?
Well,
just from air conditioning.
Western Texas doesn't. That's all East Texas, and that's because Eastern, basically, it's like the state entirely privatizes the electric grids here, right? And you'd be like, oh, yeah, that's awesome. Cool. And then you realize like, oh, wait, private industry just gets shit working barely as much as it needs to. You know
that's
what
the government does too.
To barely get it to work. Well, the private industries do it just as much. And it showed when they had all those outages. Like the power companies here in Texas keep the grid working barely just enough. You know what I mean? And then they suck up all this subsidy money and give pay bonuses out to
subsidies are the problem. Yeah,
I don't know if
there's
it's
not enough
necessarily
auditing
the problems.
going on.
I don't know if it's necessarily the problems. I think it's just lack of oversight, man. Like there's no fucking
there's not enough audits, right?
Yeah, they're not out there telling these dickheads to, do their job and go fix up grids and stuff that are failing, man.
So the point I'm trying to make is, you saw every time it gets too hot down there, people lose power. I mean, we're run by the city government up here. It's a city-run municipality.
El Paso is really cool, actually, because El Paso gets enough sun during the year that we have like a lot of people that have solar panels. Yeah, and El Paso doesn't really run out of power too much because a lot of people actually get paid by the city because they add more to the grid than they, you know what I mean, than they get. So
So what I was back to my original point. What I was trying to say is they have. I mean, you guys lose power when it gets too hot. We lose power when it gets too cold, and we're a city-run, a government-run utility area up here. Imagine if every single person in the country had electric cars. The whole grid would go down in like 3 days. It wouldn't be able to last.
You think so?
Yeah, no, there's no way. It's
I
completely
think if they
unsustainable.
were gonna do no, I think if they were gonna do that, I think that they would find ways to improve electric power.
They'd have to, but they've
Dude,
shown no indication of doing that. And right now, they'd have to get the bills. Here's what they'd have to get the bills passed to lay the groundwork in order to make it so that we wouldn't be so dependent on electrical power, or excuse me, on traditional electrical power if they were going to do that. And they aren't going to do that right now. They're just trying to force our hands and get rid of gas, and it's going to create a huge crisis because this fucking stuttering retard that we call a president can't do anything right.
I think Elon Musk said all it would take would be like 100 square mile, or maybe like an 80 square mile or something, like maybe not even 80, like a realistic square mile, like big but realistic square mile of solar panels in like Death Valley to power the like entire country for like ever.
I'd have to see like studies on that. I don't know.
I don't know.
How
Elon
accurate
Musk
that would be.
I mean, he's pretty invested in electrical power, and
yeah, but that's what you got to realize is he's got a lot of money to make if that stuff goes.
Does Tesla own solar panels? I mean,
I'm sure they do.
That'd be smart for them to do, but you know what I mean. It makes sense to me though. Like I've been out to Death Valley, dude. That shit don't ever get interruption of sunlight ever, dude. It was like the sun was so powerful out there that like to charge your phones, people would buy like those solar panel chargers.
Oh, for real?
Out there with you.
I've never been. I've never been.
It's fucking hot, man. It's sunny all the time. Like
I've never been to Death Valley. I've been to California, but it's in California, right? What I thought here. How hot does it get? Death Valley. 134 degrees.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's usually what I have the sauna at. Be all right. Be all right.
Yeah.
That's it for redneck sauna. You ever want one? Just go out and sit in your car when it's really hot. You'll get the same effect.
I do
kidding.
I do that after the gym every once in a while, man.
I've done it to sweat out cold and stuff before. No, don't actually do that. Go in a sauna. It's much more controlled. Saunas are great for you though. They really are. Like I had when we were moving, I felt like we're just on the go constantly, right? So I'm full of stress, anxiety, and all we had been eating is just shitty fried fast food, right? Like that's like 4 or 5 days in a row. And when you eat fast food like 4 or 5 days in a row, you just feel like complete garbage.
Yeah, you literally feel like your body has like a garbage bag. Just
literally, you feel a double chin coming in, even though it's not there. Like you feel yourself expanding and you just feel like poison. And I went and sat in the sauna for 30 minutes after we had gotten all of our shit in. And I sat in there until I threw up. And dude, let me fucking tell you, that was the greatest feeling. all the toxins and just crap and stress just left my body.
Casually promoting bulimia.
No, it wasn't right after I ate.
Not that bad.
It wasn't right after I ate. This was I wouldn't recommend you go sit in until you puke, but that's just what I needed. But no, it wasn't right after I ate, so it doesn't count as bulimia. But no, dude,
you didn't binge real quick. You didn't eat like 6 Big Macs first too, and then throw up.
Don't do that. Although I will say the most weight I've ever lost, or what kicked off the best weight loss regimen I've ever had, was a week-long fight with viral bronchitis where I ate nothing but water and a couple pieces of toast that I did not keep down. So, you want to lose some weight, get sick. That's that's all I can say. Oh my God, have you heard about this virus that's going around in Africa?
The monkeypox or whatever?
Oh, it's something new. Marburg virus.
Marburg virus. Oh, okay.
So Ghana declared first ever outbreak of Ebola-like Marburg virus. So it's there were 2 people that had it. That's the most important thing. We're not trying to ring the bells and drive everyone crazy here. 2 people have had it. And
is it like Ebola, where it's like horrible, like bleed out your eyes type shit?
Yes, it's like a cousin of Ebola. Here, I'll pull the symptoms up. So the period between infection and onset ranged between 2 to 21 days. High fever, severe headache, fainting, muscle aches and pains are common. Abdominal cramps, nausea and vomiting, typically blood. So that's and remember, this is in Africa, and it's spread through direct contact with open wounds. So, but with bodily fluids and open wounds, like blood, saliva,
yeah,
just like Ebola. It's not like somebody sneezes like COVID and you catch it. You know what I mean? It's
He
much less.
sneezes on and touches the door, and then 3 weeks later you touch it, and then you're gonna get COVID. Like,
Yeah, it's not like that. So you're fine there. There's no vaccine for it. There's no treatment for it, and the strain has up to a fatality rate of up to 90%. So it's just one of those things. It's like people don't realize how fragile humanity really is. Like if something like that were to go airborne like COVID, and they don't think it's anything serious. They
I don't think it would though, man. Like I don't think a virus like that could be that horrible.
I would hope not.
Or if not,
on its own. But if someone were to weaponize that and to fuck with it a little bit, who knows?
Yeah, you could get COVID fucking with the virus, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, obviously COVID is worse than airborne AIDS.
Tuberculosis was pretty goddamn awful before. That was like a really awful airborne virus. I guess that wasn't a virus. That was like a bacterial.
TB fucked people up, man.
Yeah, man.
What was the fatality rate?
Yeah, let's look tuberculosis. I know it used to be
it's still a thing, man.
Yeah,
1.5 million people in 2020 died of tuberculosis.
Tuberculosis death rate in the 1900s was 194 of every 100,000 U.S. residents died from TB in 1900.
So that's not infected. That's that's the entire population.
Yeah. So like,
holy shit.
Whatever 100,000 is over 194 is. That's still pretty high, though, man.
That's not people that caught the virus. That's deaths.
The
entire population. That's crazy. That's
people that died from it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, 1900 compared to how many that caught it and recovered.
Well, 1900, they had kind of like some understanding about
Yeah.
It wasn't like the 18. I wonder what it was in like the 1800s, man. Like 1800s, they thought they put leeches on you.
Oh yeah, that did that actually work?
By the dawn of the 19th, so it says here, by the dawn of the 19th century, tuberculosis had killed 1 in 7 of all people that had ever lived.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
it was like the Genghis Khan of viruses.
It's like, yeah, exactly. The Mongolians, like in tuberculosis viruses. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So yeah, TB was awful, man. You'd be like coughing up blood until you just fucking died, dude. Until you couldn't breathe anymore.
Was the Typhoid Mary? That wasn't tuberculosis. That was something else.
Typhoid's a different disease.
Yeah, she was the one that fucking went and spread all that shit around. Yeah, she was she was a cook. Did she intentionally give it to people, or did she just not know?
I don't know, man. Typhoid, responsible for 26.7 of every 100,000 deaths from 1900. So that means, like, dude, tuberculosis killed 5 times more people than typhoid.
Jesus, that's fucking insane.
And now, I mean, now they have the vaccine, and I know now, like, if you get it, you can get like antibiotics and stuff for it. Like, you're still kind of fucked up for a little bit, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's a disease that's probably okay. That's a living thing that's probably okay to get rid of. That can go extinct. Like,
yeah, no shit. That's it's too bad we don't have Monty Scott on here. He'd say just like the Jews. No,
Monty Scott.
No, he's fucking hilarious. He loves to troll the Nation of Islam on Facebook. What a array of all the things to troll. Yeah, he's funny though. They hate him because he's in an interracial relationship or marriage. So it's all funny though.
Is the Nation of Islam like
they hate the Jews?
They only hate the Jews?
Oh, they hate white people. They hate
It's like the black Islamic people, right? That are like
So Nation of Islam is a religious and political organization founded by Wallace Fard Muhammad, a black nationalist organization. It focuses its attention on African diaspora, especially on African Americans. While it identifies itself as promoting a form of Islam, its beliefs differ considerably from mainstream Islamic traditions. Scholars of religion characterize it as a new religious movement. It operates and is centralized as a hierarchical organization.
It's funny, man. I like if you read like the Quran, man, the Quran tells you to like. It honestly tells you to hate on people with like monotheistic religions. It tells you to hate on like Hindus and shit.
Oh, polytheistic, you mean?
Yeah. No, it tells you to love monotheistic, like so. Like it tells you like to
Polytheistic means you have multiple gods.
yeah. So
Monotheistic
it
is
basically
one.
tells you to respect Christians and Jews as your brothers
Oh.
because they believe in the same God as you.
Yeah,
That's what the Quran says. That like, that's the teachings of Muhammad.
Well,
so like honestly, I think the whole thing of why Muslims don't like, I don't think it's necessarily that Muslims don't like Jews. I think it's that they don't like Israel.
It's the land grab. Yeah. And I
land
think
grab.
a lot of that's transcended into anti-Semitism, just wrongfully placed. And that's how humans are. I mean, Americans, you've seen all the Americans here that
Jews
don't like
live everywhere, but Israelis only live in Israel.
Yeah.
You know
I think it comes out the wrong way as anti-Semitism. It's like Americans here that you know, the racist people that don't like Mexicans because they think they took their jobs. Your real concern is with the government's shitty border policies. It's nothing to do with Mexican people. You know what I mean? It's just misplaced anger, and it's just by ignorant people that don't know. And that's all it is.
Or kind of like how like people, you know what I mean, during like there was a whole wave of anti-Islamic type thought going around when
9/11
was like real swinging around, and that like
and the French. Don't forget the French. I remember my parents ordering freedom fries at McDonald's. So
when did they not like the French?
Because they wouldn't help us in Iraq or some shit like that.
Yeah, I agree with that. Fuck the French, dude. You can hate on somebody for their nationality, just not their race, you know.
Not their race or religion. Right. Yeah, that's a little too far. But no, Louis Farrakhan's the leader of the Nation of Islam.
Oh yeah, the guy that like Obama used to like or whatever when he was younger.
Yep. Yeah, that guy's crazy. He went on Alex Jones when they both got banned from Twitter at the same time.
That's like that meme with the big muscly white arm and the big muscly black arm coming together. Like,
yeah, he went on Alex Jones to talk about it. Well, dude, it's like when you go so far left, it's horseshoe theory. When you go so far left, you become right. You know, it's pretty much the same thing. It's not really much of a difference there. So yeah, it's just a bunch of fucking crazy people that are unfortunately lost. That's really all it is. But Monty gets like death threats and stuff. It's funny.
His wife is white, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a white lady. So he gets shit from white racists and black racists. So the guy is just such a troll.
Now I've been in different types of interracial relationships here, man. I'm just getting it from everybody too. Like,
I was trying to think. I've been called. I think one guy called me or accused me of committing white genocide one time. And that was it. Mainly the hate I've seen has been from other Native Americans that will direct it, like on social media. They'll see her in my picture and direct it at her. Really? And talk about how she was like, there's some Native American woman that basically sold out her tribe to the Spanish or something, and they've called her that. And that, like, I've seen a girl on
a very hyper specific insult that only Native Americans,
right? Yeah, a couple
Southwest Native Americans would understand.
A couple like women on Twitter were referring to her as that. She wasn't in the conversation. They were just saying that. But it was an argument about Thanksgiving. And because people were talking about Thanksgiving, and I'm like, dude, at the end of the day, every holiday is fucking commercialized. None of them have the deep meaning that you think they do, that they meant to 100 years ago. So people are talking about, I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. And I posted a picture of Mia and I at Thanksgiving, and I'm like, we had fun. So all of a sudden we get all these fucking. I knew what I was doing, right? It was on Twitter. I knew what I was doing. And
I'm gonna do that with Juneteenth with my girl.
There you go.
Enjoying my day.
Martin Luther King Day. So we knew what we were, or I knew what I was doing, but I'm like the racism, like calling her like a race traitor and shit. I'm like, dude, like, y'all don't realize that you're just as bad as if a white supremacist were to say that to me, because you're just as divisive and you're just as much of the problem.
My girl would tell me about how because she's mostly been with white guys, you know what I mean? So it's a problem in every race. It's a problem in every race. She's had history of being with white guys and then dealing with other like black girls, like kind of being exclusive to, or excluding her from stuff because she's in the white guys.
Yep, that happens. Yeah. It's a lot of the time I know what happens with older people. I mean, it's an outdated view on life, dude.
Mhm.
Like, if you break shit down, all of us are in interracial relationships. At our age, all of us have got something in us, whether it be somewhere back in Africa, whether it be
You know, it's funny. I did my
Native
DNA
American,
test, and
Mexican,
none of it was like. All of it was like
really.
European.
So
Yeah,
you're just
literally.
white as fuck.
Literally, dude. Well,
See,
I always joke around with my girl that like her family's all been here in the United States longer than my family has,
right.
because my
Well, we
family
know
came over
Mia's
here.
has.
Yeah. I guess my family came over. I mean, her dad's probably the same. Like, my family came over escaping the Nazis. So,
Yeah.
like, my family, all things considered, hasn't really been in America that long.
My family came from Italy right before it got fascisty.
So they escaped Mussolini.
The greatest leader of all time. Yes.
Benito.
We've already been over my love for Mussolini. No. Hey,
big ass head.
Mussolini was not a racist. He just loved Italy. He didn't care what race you were, religion, gender, didn't matter. He just loved his fucking country.
He went out of his way to go invade Africa. Like,
yep.
You know what I mean?
He just loved his fucking country. He wanted
a black girl.
He wanted to bring back the Roman Empire, and you know what? He would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for those meddling allies.
I think he referred to him like his. Didn't he like refer to Italy as like the Neo-Roman Empire? And
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was his goal.
Hilarious,
he's fucking hilarious because he's like the joke of it. Like, they would try to do things and they would fuck it up. They would do all these like crazy invasions and shit and just fuck it up every time. And it was he's part of what Italy's a joke now.
From what I've heard is that when like the Allies invaded Italy, like they fought more German troops there than they fought Italian troops,
because their troops were gone because he spread himself too thin. It's kind of like what I got going on in this game of Civilization right now. I need to get my troops back on the mainland.
a lot of people blame like Italian troops for the Germans losing at Stalingrad because I believe Russians were able to break through like weaker auxiliary Italian units on the flanks in Stalingrad and like encircle the entire like German Third Army there, or whatever army. I think it was the Third Army. But
but yeah, I mean, it's like it's just like real life, man. You got to be careful who you befriend, because if you're not, it's gonna you're gonna end up having to cover for their ass, and it's just like you got to be careful who you align yourself with.
I don't know if in World War II any other non-fascist countries were going to be friends with the Germans. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah, they kind of had to. They didn't have a lot of allies they could pick from. Well, they had Russia, and then they fucked up.
Well, Finland only became like allies with Germany because Finland hated the USSR, and they still hate Russia. Like,
that's it's a poor Mussolini gets a bad rap. One of the greatest leaders of our time, of all time.
Dude, he was short as fuck. He was like 5'3", wasn't he?
Let me see what his height was.
He had like manlet energy as well.
Between Hitler, Mussolini, and Stalin. Mussolini was 5'7".
Oh, he was 5'7"? It's still manlit.
Hitler was 5'9".
I was gonna say I thought Hitler was like 5'5" or something.
Hirohito, the Japanese leader, was 5'5", which I mean that's like a giant over there.
People were just shorter. 50s, 100 years ago. Like, I've known those guys were probably born in Hitler fought in World War I, dude. Like, you know what I mean? He was an adult in 1920.
Stalin was 5'6". So
5'6".
That's little funny. Guys, man. It's crazy. These horrific dictators that they'll go down in history as some of the most evil men alive. It's crazy to know that I could beat the piss out of all of them. In a fist fight, you don't get any guards, no weapons, bro. I would break them like a twig. And it's crazy to think about that.
Dude, like every single leader in World War II was like, dude, like FDR had fucking polio.
I'd smoke FDR with an arm tied behind my back. Winston Churchill 5'6" drunk, a 5'6" overweight drunk. Yeah, I'll beat Churchill's ass too. I mean,
Hirohito probably knew some crazy like martial arts. That's the only one I'd be like, I don't know.
He might be a little tough. I take him to the ground, it's over though. I guarantee it's over if I get him.
You could definitely whoop Hitler's ass, like Mussolini,
easy.
All them. Stalin, badass. Like
Hitler was a meth addict, So my only concern with it, those guys don't have a lot to lose and they fight dirty.
I don't know if it's right to say that. I think it'd be like saying if like ADHD people taking that stuff are meth addicts. It wasn't exactly meth, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So,
but I've heard that Hitler had fucking Parkinson's disease though. So like that's why later in his life he was always shaking all the time, is because he had fucking Parkinson's, man.
So, question: which U.S. president would you least like, or would you least want to get in a fist fight with?
Theodore Roosevelt, 100%, dude. Have you seen pictures of that guy when he was like young? Yeah, that guy was a fucking badass, man.
Like, the time of their presidency.
Yeah, even Theodore Roosevelt as presidency looks like a fucking badass. He's like hunting bears and shit all the time.
He got shot in the middle of a speech and then finished the speech and laughed at the guy as they carried him away.
That's dude. Tell me that's like not the manliest president ever.
Oh my god! So either him or Jackson got shot during a speech too.
Yeah, Jackson got shot in a duel. Like
Jackson killed a man. So Jackson got shot.
Like apparently really like strong too.
Well, he was like 6'5".
Well, he also
grew up fucking chopping trees down.
Yeah. So he was like apparently would like wrestle people all the time in the White House and was like really fucking good.
That's another bad. Yeah, I mean, there's him. Andrew Jackson got shot during a speech, walked off the stage and beat the guy, shot him with a cane.
Yeah,
and then walked back up and finished the speech. There's William Henry Harrison, who was assassinated by rain, so he would probably be pretty easy to take down. I
bet John Adams, the second president, looks like a pussy too. Like he probably beat his ass. Honestly, like any of the presidents that used to be like military guys. So
that was a different breed.
Eisenhower looks like a kind of dude that was tough. You know what I mean? Like even
Ford was big.
JFK was a fucking Navy guy, like a Navy officer. Like you know what I mean?
Who would be the easiest?
Nixon's ass looks like he could beat he'd slap him over the head and make his jowls wrap around his face.
Who would be the easiest, do you think, of all time? It's got to be
probably
Biden.
FDR.
Well, okay, besides FDR. Well, I don't know. Who would win in
all over on his own, man.
FDR in his wheelchair or Biden on a bike? Who wins?
I don't know. FDR probably at least has the use of his upper body. Like I'd fall down the stairs or something.
He just runs him over with the wheelchair.
A little electric wheelchair. Like, take that, bitch.
Oh my god. So we can't go too long because I gotta go get Indian tacos in a little bit here. Great food if you've never had it.
Oh yeah, you guys going up to Benson?
Florence. It's well, I'm going to pick it up and then drive all the way back to fucking Kansas where we live now, basically. But no, that's no, Indian tacos is just like beef and vegetables on fry bread, and I know it doesn't sound great.
Indian tacos is
beef, Indian is in Native American.
Oh,
ground beef,
tacos.
Yeah, ground beef, cheese, and just a bunch of vegetables.
I thought you meant like from India.
No.
What?
Oh, that's why you said Vincent. Yeah, but no, I gotta tell you about my new favorite Twitter account that I found, right? So this guy is a pediatrician from Omaha, Nebraska, right? Fun fact, he was my pediatrician growing up, and this is how I found him.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
This guy oh, he's not a pedophile. No, okay, nothing like that.
God. I really thought you were about to be like, and you know, fucking 10-year-olds.
No. A friend of mine actually, his scoutmaster from when he was in like elementary school, like his kids came forward like 20 years later and accused him of molesting them, and he didn't hear about it, but it was like all over the news. And his mom called him like when the news story broke and went, "Hey, is there anything you want to tell me?"
I don't blame his mom for doing that.
No, I don't either. Yeah. But so this doctor, he first caught my eye when he tweeted. So he's one of those people. We all got friends that were kind of like center left, you know what I mean? And then Trump came along and fucking broke them, you know what I mean? So he's one of those people. And watching his mental decline on Twitter has been fascinating. He's completely stereotypical, unhinged liberal. He'll post things like shaming his patients for not wearing masks on his Twitter account. Very unprofessional.
Like still?
Yes. Like he said, he had a tweet. Let me see if I can.
Like 20 rounds of the vaccine now, dude. Why? The pandemic's over, bro. Like, relax.
Let me see if I can find the tweet.
All about Ukraine now, man. Now you're supposed to wear your fucking dumbass blue and yellow shirts and shit.
Yeah, come on, man. What are you doing? He had so the tweet, it was fuck, I gotta find it now. Maybe it's this one. I just saw a family who left my practice about a year ago because I asked if they were vaccinated against COVID in the grocery store without mask. This is in February. In the grocery store without mask during a mask mandate. At least they're consistent with their conviction.
There still a mask mandate in February?
They reinstated it. Yeah.
Oh,
he says at least they're consistent with their convictions of ignoring science. And I'm like, bro, like, you know what? You can think that, but you're on your professional profile, your doctor's office profile with your link in your bio to where people, it's his private practice, where people can go to see you. And you're bashing former patients.
Here's where I would be like, okay, if he was having this mental consistency, is like if he also had posts on there like showing patients like buying a bunch of fucking fast food and shit, and be like, these fat fucks keep eating all this food. I'm getting all the money off of them and stuff. Like,
well, he had a post. Let me see. I had this is the other day. Had a 15-year-old tell me that he did 4 hours of research, which convinced him that creatine was safe and effective for his workouts. I politely disagreed. I'm like, you know what? That's fine. You can think that. You're a doctor. That's great. It's your job to tell him and his parents your 15-year-old should not be on creatine. No problem with that. You shouldn't be posting it on Twitter. It's just unprofessional.
That's like doctor-patient confidentiality.
Well, man. It's not illegal because he hasn't used it. I talked to one of my friends who works HR and medicine in the medical field, and he said it's not illegal. But if he didn't own his private practice, he would get a stern talking to about his social media presence from HR. It's just like any other business. Like if you worked at a bank and you didn't use people's specific names, but you were going on posting, this guy came in and withdrew $15,000, you'd get in trouble for that. It's just unprofessional.
This person coming in and I went through their account and they're buying a bunch of booze and strip clubs and
this guy spends more on OnlyFans than he does in his rent. Like it'd be like that. It's just it's tacky, it's unprofessional. You just shouldn't do it. Yeah. So he had that. So what I've started doing is I
go to a private practice doctor like that anyway. Like I want my doctor to be friendly, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know
that's the thing, man, is it's like
if they were over there talking about their fucking patients buying a bunch of shitty food at the supermarket, it's like, bro, like that's their fucking right to do that, man. Like,
right.
Leave them alone.
Yeah. And you know what? You can have those conversations with them about how you may feel very strongly about masks and vaccines and shit. That's your right as a doctor, but you need to have those conversations with them in private, not on your fucking Twitter account. Because let me tell you, man, if I brought my 15-year-old son to the doctor and he was telling him about how he did all this research on creatine and the doctor, put him in his place like he should, because a 15-year-old shouldn't be doing creatine. Let's be real. Put him in his place, told him this. I'd be like, that's cool. I'm glad he did that because it's better coming from me because he's not going to listen to me.
I mean, like, dude, why is this doctor acting like creatine's fucking steroids?
It's not, but 15-year-olds shouldn't be on it though. Like
why? Creatine is just a thing that your muscles use to flex.
Creatine, it's not regulated by the FDA, and it's if you don't follow a very strict workout regimen, it can just make you fat and cause other issues. So
but if the guy's, you can read all that online though.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So I wouldn't have an issue if the doctor said that, if the doctor discouraged creatine use. I would have an issue if I went home and saw that my kid was being used for Twitter clout. I would be calling his office the next fucking morning. That's a problem. So he posts unhinged political posts. He posted the other day, Jesus had no use for an assault weapon. And I commented, I don't know, I bet he wished he had one when the Romans pulled up.
A lot of people probably wish they did when the Romans were occupying their fucking country. Like,
right.
You know what I mean?
And then what was I got him pissed off yesterday. I said, that
was one of the first things the Romans would do when they would occupy a country is they would disarm the population.
Yeah, that's what Hitler did. That's what everyone does. You disarm the population, they can't fight back. It's not like they're going to wage a full-scale war, but it's going to become too expensive for you to occupy it.
And then the Romans would play like mind games with them and try to make them feel like they were Roman. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep. So he said, here, I've had several parents tell me today they're leaving the choice of getting their preteens and teens vaccinated against COVID up to the children. Seems weird to me. And at this point, I've just taken akin to fucking with him and being contrary to everything he says. So I said, that's very weird. That's like saying I'm leaving the choice of doing meth up to my kids. And he goes, doing meth is definitely a choice made by children. This is more like making them wear a seatbelt or a bicycle helmet, a safety measure the parent has control over. And I said, except in this case, the seatbelt makes their heart explode. And then Justin Healy adds on, I lied and was able to get my 6-year-old boosted 7 times. Knowing she is safe is what helps me sleep at night. So, yeah, I mean, this guy's completely unhinged. He had a tweet a while back. They said, who's the worst person in the history of your state? And he said either Charles Starkweather or Pete Ricketts. The governor, Pete Ricketts.
Is Charles Starkweather like the old like mafia boss leader that
Charles Starkweather. Charles Starkweather was an American spree killer who murdered 11 people in Nebraska and Wyoming. He was 19 years old. He said, so I'm like, okay, so you're going to put Pete Ricketts over John Jubert, the Bellevue boy snatcher. I mean, the dude that shot up the Westroads, the dude that shot up my high school, dude that shot up the Sonic in Bellevue.
Who's the one guy that was in prison? That was the crazy guy that like, with all the tattoos on his face.
Oh, Nico Jenkins. Didn't even think of him.
Pete Ricketts worse than Nico Jenkins.
Pete Ricketts. Yeah, Pete. So, and then there was the Rulo, Nebraska guy. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So
the Michael Ryan guy.
Is that what it was Mike? Yeah, Michael Ryan.
He looked like a very typical like country Nebraska guy.
Yeah, he was a cult leader. He's like a white supremacist, a neo-Nazi, and he kidnapped these people in this hog barn house and basically tortured them to death.
Yeah.
Only Pete Ricketts is worse than that guy. Like, come on, was a child.
Pete Ricketts worse than that guy.
Ricketts. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've got some problems with his stance on various issues. But
I'll make fun of Pete Ricketts' like political stuff and everything, but I don't think he's a bad guy.
I don't like Joe Biden, but I'm not going to sit here and go, "Oh, Joe Biden was worse than Charles Manson."
He's a bad president. I don't think Joe Biden's probably not a bad guy. I don't know him.
He's got dementia. He can't be a good guy or a bad guy. He doesn't know where the fuck he is half the time. So no, I mean, it's just like what scares me the most is. There's always been shit like this. I mean, every Republican nominee, John McCain, Mitt Romney, milquetoast bullshit like that, has been labeled Hitler by whack jobs on the internet. People that don't matter. The problem is this guy has thousands of followers and he's a doctor. That's a problem to me. That
being
people
a doctor doesn't necessarily make you smart, man. It's like, dude, being a plumber makes you a fucking expert in plumbing.
Sure,
you know what I mean. Being a medical doctor makes you an expert in like medical stuff, you know what I mean? But like it doesn't necessarily make you a political expert, you know.
But my thing with that is if a plumber disagrees with me on politics, it really doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's not going to change how he's going to snake my drain.
It only matters about as much as you let it matter. Because like a plumber disagrees with you, you know what I mean? Yeah, it could fuck up yourself, you know. But there's more plumbers. There's more doctors too.
Well, my thing is if a plumber is outspokenly liberal or conservative or whatever, and I disagree with him, it's not gonna change how he snakes my drain up. If a doctor disagrees with me, as we've seen in the last couple years, they will refuse to do certain treatments that are effective or push treatments that are probably ineffective if it goes with their political ideology. I mean, the monoclonal antibodies were proven to be a great success. And there were certain doctors refusing patients to have those. I would not put my child in the hands of someone who is politically radical on either side, the right or the left.
Doctors I've met, though, are like world weary enough to like, you know what I mean, where they kind of try to, you know what I mean? Most doctors are smart.
Sure, absolutely.
Being intelligent comes with like usually comes with some wisdom too.
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah,
not being a loud, belligerent jackass. Now, that's not 100% true. You know what I mean? There are loud, belligerent jackasses in every profession, doctors included. But
you
know what I mean? Pretty much every doctor I've ever met was like, you know what I mean? If they knew that if they weren't an expert on something, they would at least keep, try to keep down about it.
Yeah.
And then they would also be like, like in my professional opinion,
Sure.
what I mean? And not be like, no, you have to do this.
Jesus wouldn't use an AR-15, just posting purposely insightful things. Yeah. Or to incite people. Yeah. I mean, he's posted things on there bashing Christians and stuff. And again, if you're an atheist, that's fine. Keep your fucking religion out of your business. Keep it off of your business. That's fine with me. I don't care what religion, but dude, when you hear about people saying that we're losing trust in our institutions, that people like that are why professions that were formerly respected, we're seeing more and more nutcases come out.
I'm telling you why is because the nutcases have always been there.
Sure.
But it's like now they can be allowed on Twitter and people can see it. So
and you can go, since he wants to be so public about this, you guys can go check him out at Doc Socks Omaha on his Twitter account, and you can let him know his clinic is Omaha Children's Clinic. This is all public. He wants it on there. We're not doxing anyone. This is stuff he wants to get out. John Van, VANN.
His opinion, I would respect to hear why he thinks something like why a 15-year-old shouldn't use creatine. I'd want him to explain it to me,
which I actually agree with. I agree with that. My issue isn't with that. It's the act of posting about it and using it to get retweets is my issue. That's my problem. I mean, if my kid went in and was like, yeah, I'm cutting myself, we can all agree that a child cutting themselves is bad, but the doctor should not go to Twitter and be, this 16-year-old came in and told me she was cutting herself today. No, fucking, you can have that conversation with your wife at the dinner table as long as you don't use the name. But other than that, man, it's like, come on, there's got to be how can we trust you if you're going to go use my fucking kid for social media fame? It's bullshit. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's my issue with him. I don't know if you had anything you wanted to add to that. Sorry, it's a personal issue to me, so it's close to my heart.
No, I'm not on Twitter, and it saves me a lot of my heart rate.
It should. I follow a lot of meme accounts, shit posting accounts. They're great. And I'll also follow news accounts and stuff because that's where you get stuff to talk about on the show and comedies stuff. That's true. And stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, it's very, very infuriating. Again, you can follow him at Doc Socks Omaha on Twitter, and you can go see the insanity that he has to say, the insanity that he hurls out there. The other thing was he posted that he wants to help transgender children on there, kids that are transgender, which we can all agree doesn't exist. So
it's funny, man. I watched a documentary from 14 years ago about microplastics and stuff being in
it's a real thing.
BPA is a artificial estrogen, but so BPA is a plastic that they use as a plastic softener, and they put it in plastic cups and everything plastic, right?
Yeah,
they put it in fucking chip bags, and so it gets in your food basically, and when in your water, when you drink water bottles, it's got BPA in it.
Sure.
BPA works it's a hormone inhibitor, because it's basically mimics estrogen in the human body, so it makes your body's hormones get all fucked up. And they were talking about on that documentary about how it leads to more feminine men and more masculine women. And I'm like, man, if people would be bringing out that science now, they would consider that transphobic.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? They were making out they were saying it's a bad thing, and it is a bad thing.
It's terrible.
But now that's transphobic. That more feminine men and more masculine women, that's transphobic.
Societies historically are better when men are masculine and women are feminine. It's just a fact, man.
Stuff like that is what's leading to so many more people being trans anymore, man.
I think there's that, and it's kind of a trend too. It's just the trendy, and it's being forced through institutions like nut job doctors like that and teachers. There was a video on TikTok. The second grade teacher posted a video saying she told her kids what pronouns were, and the next day, every single second grader in the class came out as non-binary. She said, "It's just what are the odds? Less than 0.1% of the population. It's the entire 25 kid class. What are the? I mean,
if my kid came to home doing that, I would sit down with them and be like,
no, this is not real. This is not real." But that's my thing, dude. She said, "I'm just so glad that they feel comfortable coming out when in my classroom and not around when they can't do it around unsafe adults." I'm like, bitch, you are the unsafe adult. You are the unsafe adult.
Like that, or why I want to oh shit, we didn't even talk about this, how Twitter banned the word groomer, man.
I saw it. So did Reddit. No, Reddit did. Reddit banned it.
No, Twitter banned it too.
Did they? What the fuck?
Yeah, they said it's going against the LGBT community.
Dude, if groomer describes you, like maybe y'all should take a look at that.
I told you, man.
Clean your house.
Pedophiles are trying to stick themselves in with the LGBT.
Everyone wants to come at cops.
Pedophiles are trying to do what transsexuals did by gluing themselves to the LGB rights.
LGB, that's what I call it. I call it LGB because that's what it is.
That's what it used to be when we were kids, man. LGB rights, like people wanted like gay marriage and stuff to be
fully
legal.
Support the LGB community. For the record. Like there's no reason that two consenting adults shouldn't be able to marry and adopt children. None.
People added the T to it, and now they're trying. I'm telling you, they're sneaking the pedophiles in there. They're gonna have it BP, the MIPs.
How do you think it, dude? How do you think this fucking? It's a the slippery slope theory is real because when they started off by saying, well, kids can consent to having sex changes, right? What's that going to lead to? Eventually, that's going to lead to, well, if they can consent to have sex changes, they can consent to having sex with a 45-year-old man. That's the end game. It's very clear what they're trying to do here.
I think that's the extreme points, but like the real bad, like, you know what I mean? The bad common shit is you get a bunch of second graders that say they're non-binary.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
It's like,
and I'm like, yeah, I'm sure they came to that conclusion by themselves and not your 45-minute rant to them about how they all don't know what gender is. You're just trying to confuse them. Yeah, no, I'm sure. It's like, hey, do you want an A in math? Come out as non-binary. I need some TikTok clout here. Come on, my views are down. Let's do this shit.
From some 28-year-old teacher named Rachel.
Rachel,
died
they, them.
Rochelle.
All cops are bastards, but if you had a barbecue on Memorial Day during COVID, I was calling them on you.
Yeah.
I don't trust them.
All cops are bastards, but we shouldn't have firearms. If you're in a dangerous situation, call them. You don't need a firearm.
Yeah, all cops are bastards, but only the cops should have guns and criminals. That's. I actually had a great argument about that the other day. I was like, so we got to wrap this up pretty soon because Indian tacos. But I had a great argument about that the other day. I said, so my fiance, I travel for comedy fairly frequently. We'll go into my show dates right after this. I travel for comedy fairly frequently, right? Forget this because someone said the Second Amendment was only for muskets. I'm like, forget the Second Amendment, the Constitution exists. Let's look at this from a purely human perspective.
Only for the freedom of press is only for the newspaper. Then
you can't post that via Twitter anymore. You can be censored. Well, I mean, we can, but officially not by the government. But no, I said the other day, I said, forget the Second Amendment, forget the Constitution, Bill of Rights, everything. Let's look at it from a human perspective. I'm sure you consider yourself pro-woman. I travel for comedy frequently, all the time. I'm out of the house, right? If my fiance, who's 5'1", were to call me right now, and while she's home alone, and say someone's breaking in, would you advise her to grab an AR-15 or a musket? What do you think she would fare better with? You know what I mean? Because she's not going to beat the guy in a fist fight. You want her to get the black powder and oh shit, it rolled to the bottom. It was a misfire. No.
Triangle bayonets on muskets cause like irreparable bleeding damage.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I'm like, at the same time, I'm like, dude, like from a human perspective, you cannot call yourself pro-woman and be anti-gun. You just can't, because that's the equalizer between a woman her size and a man my size, or even smaller than me. That is the equalizer.
You should just teach men not to break into houses.
Okay? I would love to do that. If you have an idea on how to teach men not to break into houses, I'd be all for it. Until then,
they've been teaching people not to do crime for fucking ever.
It's worked great. Yeah, it's worked great. Yeah. It actually has worked. Crime is on the downfall. We've done a good job at policing crime, and a lot of it's been more economic opportunities. But there are still people that are, for whatever reason, chemically wired improperly, and the only way to fix that is a bullet. So
somebody stole my girl's mom's wallet today at work or at the store.
What a scumbag!
Just snatched her purse, man. Like,
what a scumbag! You should be able to shoot people like that as they run away. I'd be all for it. I mean, they'd stop doing it real quick.
Pro to a Second Amendment, so
fuck yeah, I love pro Second Amendment minority people. It's minorities. It's great because they all should be, because they're the ones that get oppressed more than anybody.
They're the ones that get targeted the most.
Yeah,
by that stuff,
so that's my thing. I'm like, would you advise her to grab an AR or a musket? And the argument's, well, the AR makes it unfair. And I'm like, bro, it shouldn't be fair. You shouldn't be in my house. The second you decide to break into someone else's house and cause bodily harm to them, the rules fair is out the window. It wasn't fair that you broke in.
My girl is 5'9", like an old like played basketball for forever. You know what I mean? Is like a youth basketball coordinator. Like she will beat a dude's fucking ass in if they try to break in, dude. My girl could beat somebody a little
for sure.
Because usually criminals are like those real scrawny fucks. You know what I mean? Like, oh, dude.
Unless there's more than one of them. You know,
I feel bad for that guy that tried to do that.
Here's my thing. I'm 6'1". I practice jujitsu. My homie Tim Locklear.
Get in my guard, bro.
Not enough to win any tournaments, but just enough that I could.
Get in my guard, bro. Get in my guard.
I do it. I haven't done it since since I re-injured myself, but I do it enough to where I'd be able to handle myself in a fight against someone who didn't know how to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to go win any championships, but someone who has no experience in that kind of thing, I'd be able to handle myself going to the ground. So I'm 6'1". I practice jujitsu. I got a big dog. You know what? I boxed, but I played football. But you know what?
I was more vicious than
you know what though?
If it can get to the criminal, like that kind of fuck.
I'd still rather have a gun if someone broke in. So I don't want to get in I don't know who's gonna pull a knife or have a buddy. Fuck that. I just want a gun. That's easier. I'm defending myself. I'm an innocent victim. You're right.
That guy
fairness
could be
goes
an
out the
old
window.
boxing like an old
wrestler,
varsity boxer in high school or something. I don't know if they had school boxing, but you know what I mean. Like a trained boxer. Like, yeah, good thing that's gonna fucking do. And I shoot you in the fucking chest with a pistol, man.
My Glock is the equalizer. Yeah. Hollow points don't really care what you lettered in high school. So it's like,
true. I mean, they could have been a varsity wrestler in high school, man. Like that guy could beat your ass, but he's not, you know what I mean? You got a gun. Like,
should that be the episode title? Hollow points don't care what you know, because that'll sound like a school shooter manifesto. All right. Well,
I love that nobody can call say we're us like a school shooter podcast, because it's like you've been through a school shooting.
Sat through one.
Yeah.
Sat through one.
Caleb survived one. All right, that's very insensitive.
So yeah. So we'll wrap this up. Dates. Let me hold on. Fuck, I got a lot of them. So what day is today? Today's the 27th. So this weekend I got nothing. August 4th, I'm in Council Bluffs. August 5th and 6th will be at the Backline in Omaha. August 13th I'll be headlining at Beach House. August 20 or no, I got another one. Yeah, August 26th we got the roast battles, verbal assault. It's a Friday. August.
Did you see that thing that? God, what's his name? The big bald white guy that we had on our show the one time. What's his name? Brent.
Brent Bradley.
Yeah, Brent. Did you see what Brent posted about Don Seeger on the?
No, what'd he say?
They're roasting each other in the roast battles, right?
No, he's competing in Don's thing.
Oh, okay. In that roast battle thing, I thought Brent and Don were the ones going at it with each other.
No, I think he's going up against Rachel or something. I don't know. What did he say?
He posted like a bunch of fangs from like different vampire movies, and then it was like a Don Seeger or Seeger family reunion, and it was like somebody with only their incisors in their mouth, like all the other teeth were missing.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that shit had me dying, dude. I was like, that's funny as fuck, man.
That's the one I forgot. August 25th, Brick Street Tavern in Millard. I'll be out there. September 9th, we got Harmful Content Comedy is back. September 11th, Wichita, Kansas. And then I got a headliner date in Lincoln that I'm still waiting on the actual day for. I will let you know. It's an all-female show. The headliner dropped. They wanted to try something new, so they've got me headlining it. Wish me luck. Say a prayer for me.
Are you gonna be just as crazy as you normally are?
If anything, when I get put on these shows, they're like, well, the audience is a little sensitive. If anything, I just step it up a notch. Like, I don't even.
You're headlining, man. Like, fuck.
Fuck them. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? There's no one after me. You came to see me. You can sit there and watch. They know what they're getting when they hire me. I'm friends with the girl that's putting it on.
Okay.
We'll be fine. So, no, it's It'll be all right.
There's shocky female comics, you know.
Absolutely.
I guess it just matters, I guess, who as long as you know the people putting it on. So
Absolutely.
it'll probably be all right.
You got anything you want to plug?
No, I was just tomorrow's my last day in my college class, man.
Hell yeah.
Friday is so we're done.
Fuck yeah, college.
Yeah.
I got that other thing that we're still working on an official launch date for it, so it'll be a little bit. We've had some setbacks, mainly them taking off a little bit more than they thought, and me getting sick as a fucking dog have pushed things back a little bit. So we're working on it. I'm not going to announce anything until it's official, and I've sat down and started working. So it'll be fun though. It'll be lots of fun. It'll help this show too. So
cool.
That's all I got. This has been Bread and Circuses.
Deuces, y'all. I know we said we were gonna go short, but man, we just
Peace
can't.
the fuck out. No, we just can't. There's just too much shit going on, and we didn't even get to all of it. Peace the fuck out, y'all. Thank you so much.
Deuces, y'all.